Captain Taewon Park stood at the observation deck of the International Space Defense Center, his eyes fixed on the massive holographic display showing Earth's solar system. For 3 years, he had commanded this facility, but nothing in his training had prepared him for this moment. "Sir, we're detecting something unusual near Jupiter's orbit," Lieutenant Hyun Kim said, her fingers flying across the control panel. "Energy signatures unlike anything we've seen before." Taewon leaned forward, his heart racing. "Show me." The display zoomed in, revealing what appeared to be hundreds of massive objects moving in perfect formation. They glowed with a strange, purple light that pulsed rhythmically. "Are those ships?" Taewon whispered, though he already knew the answer. "Yes, sir. We count at least 300 vessels, each approximately 2 kilometers in length," Hyun replied. "They're maintaining formation and continuing toward Earth at constant speed." Taewon reached for the emergency communication device. This was, at first contact, the moment humanity had speculated about for centuries. "Alert the Security Council immediately. I want all world leaders informed within the hour," he ordered. "And get me Professor Jun Lee from the Astrophysics Division." Within minutes, the observation room filled with military personnel and scientists. Professor Jun arrived last, his hair disheveled as if he'd been pulled from sleep. "Professor, we need your expertise," Taewon said, pointing to the display. "What are we looking at?" Jun adjusted his glasses and stared at the formation. "These are definitely artificial objects. The energy signatures indicate advanced propulsion technology far beyond our capabilities." As everyone watched, something impossible happened. One by one, the ships began to vanish, not retreat or change course, simply disappear without a trace. "What's happening?" Taewon demanded. "Did they jump to another location?" "No, sir," Hyun replied, checking her instruments. "There's no indication of faster-than-light travel. They're just gone." By the time the Security Council connected to the emergency video conference, nearly half the fleet had vanished. "We didn't fire a single weapon," Taewon explained to the grim-faced world leaders on screen. "We don't know what's causing this." As days passed, more alien fleets approached from different directions. Each time the same pattern occurred, they would reach approximately the same distance from Earth and then begin to vanish one by one. In the science lab, Professor Jun worked day and night analyzing the data. On the 4th day, he called Taewon with excitement in his voice. "Captain, you need to see this," he said. Taewon found Jun surrounded by holographic displays showing energy readings. "There's a pattern in the disappearances," Jun explained, pointing to a wave-like signature that appeared seconds before each ship vanished. "Something is causing this, and it's not random." "Are you saying another alien force is destroying them?" Taewon asked. "No, I think it's something else. Something that's been here all along," Jun replied, pulling up ancient astronomical records. "I found similar energy patterns in data from 50 years ago, but they were dismissed as equipment malfunctions." Before they could discuss further, Hyun's voice came over the communication system. "Captain, we have a survivor. One ship from the latest fleet managed to change course before disappearing. It's badly damaged but intact." Taewon and Jun rushed to the command center. On the main screen, they saw a single alien vessel limping toward Earth's orbit. Unlike the others, this one emitted a steady blue light. "They're broadcasting a signal," Hyun said. "It appears to be a request for help." "Can we translate it?" Taewon asked. "Working on it, sir," another officer replied. As they watched, the ship stabilized its orbit around Earth. The translation program finally decoded the message. "People of Earth, we come seeking refuge. Something ancient protects your world. Please help us understand why it destroys those who approach." Taewon looked at Jun, whose face had gone pale. "What if Earth has had a defense system all this time?" Jun whispered. "One that predates human civilization?" Taewon stared at the damaged alien ship on the screen. "If that's true, then why hasn't it ever affected us?" "That," Jun said quietly, "might be the most important question of all." As night fell over the Space Defense Center, lights across, the facility remained on. Humanity's first contact wasn't going as anyone had imagined. Instead of invasion or peaceful greeting, they faced a mystery that seemed to reach back into Earth's distant past. and somewhere beyond the edges of their solar system, more ships were approaching. Professor June Lee hadn't slept in 3 days. The laboratory walls were covered with holographic displays showing data from the vanishing alien fleets. Each time a new fleet approached Earth, the same pattern occurred. Ships would reach a certain boundary and then simply disappear. Only that one damaged vessel had survived, maintaining orbit around Earth's moon. "You need to rest," Meeson said, placing a cup of coffee beside him. As the team's quantum physicist, she had been analyzing energy signatures non-stop. "How can I sleep when the biggest discovery in human history is happening?" June replied, rubbing his tired eyes. "Look at this pattern. The energy signature pulses exactly 7 times before each ship vanishes." The door slid open as Captain Taewon entered with Day, the team's historian. Behind them walked a being that made everyone freeze, the Talari ambassador. Standing nearly 2 meters tall with silver-blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the lights, the alien moved with careful grace. "Ambassador Jin has agreed to share what they know," Taewon explained. The translation device at the alien's throat glowed softly as it spoke. "We came to Earth because of ancient stories," Jin said, voice melodic despite the mechanical translation. "Many civilizations believe your world is protected by guardians from the early days of the galaxy." Meeson stepped forward. "But why are some ships destroyed while yours survived?" Jin's large eyes blinked slowly. "We approached with peaceful intent. The others, perhaps not." June suddenly stood up. "Intent, that's it." He pulled up new displays showing brainwave patterns. "What if this defense system responds to thoughts? To intentions?" "That's impossible," Taewon said. "No technology could read minds across space." "Not with our understanding of physics," Meeson countered, excitement building in her voice. "But quantum entanglement at a scale we've never imagined might do exactly that." Day spread ancient cave paintings across another screen. "These were discovered in Australia last year. They show beings of light surrounding Earth, dated to over 40,000 years ago." The team fell silent, contemplating the implications. "If this defense system has been here all along," June said slowly, "why hasn't it ever affected humans? We've had wars, violence, all kinds of negative intentions." The ambassador moved closer to the displays. "Perhaps because you are different." Later that night, after the ambassador returned to the ship, the team gathered in Taewon's office. The captain paced back and forth. "The Security Council is demanding answers," he said. "More fleets are approaching. Some appear to be fleeing. Something." Meeson pulled up a complex equation on her tablet. "I've been analyzing our brainwave patterns compared to the Talari. There's something unique about human thought processes." "What do you mean?" June asked. "We're contradictory," she explained. "Our minds can hold opposing thoughts simultaneously. We can love and hate, hope and fear all at once. The Talari brain scans show much more linear thinking." Day nodded thoughtfully. "Throughout human history, our greatest strength has been adaptability, changing our minds and behaviors rapidly." "So you're suggesting this ancient system can't read us properly?" Taewon asked. "Not just that," Meeson replied. "I think it doesn't recognize us as either threat or non-threat. We're a question mark." The next morning, they presented their theory to the Security Council. While the politicians argued, June noticed something on one of the monitors, a new fleet approaching, larger than any before. "Those energy signatures are different," he whispered to Meeson. "More aggressive." Before anyone could respond, Ambassador Jin burst into the room, surprising everyone with this breach of protocol. "You must listen," the alien said urgently. "The harvesters have found Earth. They do not come for peace or sanctuary. They consume worlds." "Will the defense system stop them?" Taewon asked. "It should," Jin replied. "But they have studied the disappearances. They may have found a way to bypass it." Meeson grabbed June's arm. "What if we could control the system ourselves? Use our human thought patterns to reprogram it?" "That's a massive leap," June said. "But it might be our only chance," Taewon added, looking at the approaching harvester fleet. As the room erupted in debate, June stared at the ancient cave paintings. Something about the pattern of light beings surrounding Earth reminded him of neural pathways. What if the defense system wasn't just protecting Earth? What if it was waiting for Earth's inhabitants to evolve enough to understand it? "We need volunteers," he announced suddenly. "People willing to connect their minds to something very old and very powerful." The room fell silent as the implication sank in. Humanity might hold the key to its own salvation, not through technology, but through the unique way humans think. The Talari ambassador stood before the United Nations Security Council, silver-blue skin shimmering under the bright lights. The enormous chamber was packed with world leaders, scientists, and military commanders, all gathered to hear the truth about the vanishing alien fleets. "The galaxy is not as we imagined," Ambassador Jin began, voice melodic despite the translation device. "For thousands of years, multiple civilizations have been aware of Earth, but none approached. Your world was marked as protected." Taewon glanced at Jun and Misun, who sat rigidly in their seats. The revelation confirmed their theories, but hearing it stated so plainly sent chills through the chamber. "Protected by what?" asked the Secretary General. "The ancients," Jin replied. "A species that reached technological perfection millions of years ago. They vanished, but left behind systems to preserve worlds they deemed worthy of protection." The holographic display behind Jin activated, showing a map of the galaxy with dozens of worlds highlighted in blue. "These are the protected worlds. Most harbor life still developing intelligence. Earth is unique because your species evolved while under protection." Misun raised her hand. "Why are so many fleets approaching Earth now?" Jin's large eyes blinked slowly. "Because the harvesters have returned." The display changed to show a massive structure that resembled a mechanical planet. Collective gasps echoed through the chamber. The harvesters consume worlds. They strip planets of resources and absorb civilizations into their collective. They hunt systematically, sector by sector. Now they have reached yours. "And the fleets that approached Earth?" Jun asked. "Refugees like us," Jin answered. "Some came seeking sanctuary, others to conquer Earth before the harvesters arrived. The ancient defense system destroyed those with harmful intent." Taewon stood up. "You said the harvesters have studied the disappearances. How could they bypass the defense system?" "They adapt. They learn. They have consumed technologies from thousands of civilizations." Later that evening, in a secure laboratory beneath the defense center, Jun examined the data collected from the energy surges that destroyed the alien ships. "The system operates on quantum principles," he explained to Taewon and Misun. "It somehow reads intention across vast distances, but it's binary in its judgment, threat or non-threat. That's why it never activated against humans," Misun added. "Our contradictory thoughts confuse it. We can think of destruction while choosing peace. We can hate and love simultaneously." Day entered the lab, carrying ancient tablets recovered from an archaeological site in Egypt. "These hieroglyphics tell of sky guardians who judged the worthy and unworthy," he said, placing the tablets on the table. "Similar stories exist in Sumerian, Mayan, and Aboriginal Australian records. So this system has been influencing human development all along?" Taewon asked. "Not influencing," Jun corrected. "Observing. Waiting." An alarm suddenly blared through the facility. They rushed to the main control room where Hyun was monitoring the deep space sensors. "Harvester scout ships detected near Saturn," she reported. "They're moving slowly, testing boundaries." On the screen, they watched as a small ship approached the invisible boundary. Unlike previous vessels, this one emitted a strange pulsing field around itself. It crossed the boundary without disappearing. "They've found a way through," Taewon whispered. Ambassador Jin, who had joined them, stepped forward. "The main harvester vessel carries billions of absorbed consciousnesses. If they reach Earth, your world will join them. We need to take control of the defense system," Misun said. "Use our human thought patterns to reprogram it." "Is that even possible?" Taewon asked. Jun pointed to energy readings from the boundary. "The system responds to consciousness. If we could interface with it directly." "That would require finding the source," Day said. the physical location of the defense system. Everyone fell silent as the implications sank in. Somewhere on Earth, hidden for millennia, lay an alien technology of unimaginable power. Finding it might be their only hope. The ancient texts mention, "A heart of light beneath the endless blue," Day continued. "I always thought it was metaphorical." "The ocean," June said suddenly. "It's under the ocean." As they began planning the search, more alarms sounded. The main display showed dozens of Harvester scout ships successfully crossing the boundary, heading toward Earth. The race to find humanity's ancient protector had begun. The deep-sea exploration. Vessel Horizon descended through layers of midnight blue water, its powerful lights illuminating the bizarre landscape of the Pacific Ocean Trench. Inside the cramped control room, Professor June Lee monitored screens displaying sonar readings while Mi-sun checked the quantum detection equipment they had hastily developed. 8,000 meters and still descending, reported the pilot, his hand steady on the controls despite the crushing pressure outside. "We're approaching the coordinates." Taewon studied the ancient map they had pieced together from legends across cultures, stories of a heart of light hidden in the deepest part of the ocean. For 3 days, teams had been searching different trenches based on these clues, but this location showed the strongest energy readings. "Something's interfering with our instruments," Mi-sun said, suddenly tapping at her screen. "The quantum signatures are intensifying." A soft blue glow appeared in the darkness ahead, growing brighter as they approached. The vessel's external cameras revealed an enormous structure embedded in the ocean floor, a perfect sphere, approximately 100 meters in diameter, pulsing with internal light. "The ancient defense system," June whispered. "After all this time," the vessel's communication system crackled. "Captain Park, this is Defense Command. Harvester ships have breached our outer defense line. 50 vessels now in Earth orbit. The main Harvester ship will arrive in approximately 6 hours. Taewon acknowledged the message grimly. Their window was closing fast. "Can we interface with it?" he asked Mi-sun. She nodded, uncertain. "The neural link technology is experimental. It should allow direct communication between human consciousness and the system, but what? The human mind wasn't designed to process this kind of information. The strain could be," she paused, "dangerous." As they debated, the vessel's external sensors detected movement. The sphere was changing, parts of its surface shifting to reveal an entrance large enough for their vessel. "It's inviting us in," June said. Inside the sphere, they found a chamber filled with technology unlike anything humans had created, flowing structures of light and material that seemed to exist between solid and energy. At the center stood 5 crystalline pods, each large, enough to hold a person. "Neural interface chambers," Mi-sun said, examining the alien technology. "The system wants 5 volunteers." Back at Defense Command, screens showed the Harvester fleet positioning around Earth. Their strange ships had begun deploying smaller vessels toward major cities. Ambassador Jin watched the deployment with growing dread. "They will establish control points first. Then the absorption begins." In the underwater chamber, June, Mi-sun, and 3 other scientists prepared to enter the crystalline pods. Taewon had returned to coordinate the planetary defense. "The theory is simple," June explained to the volunteers. "Our human consciousness, our ability to hold contradictory thoughts simultaneously, will reprogram the ancient system. Instead of binary judgment, we'll teach it to recognize nuance." Mi-sun added, "The system was designed to protect developing species. We'll show it that humanity has developed enough to become partners rather than protectees." As they entered the pods, the crystal material flowed around them like water, encasing each person in a translucent shell. Their minds connected not just to the ancient system, but to each other, creating a network of human consciousness unlike anything experienced before. In that shared mental space, they saw the history of Earth's protection, how the ancients had identified Earth as a world with unique potential, how they had shielded it while allowing natural evolution to proceed. They witnessed the arrival and destruction of countless alien fleets over millennia, some peaceful, some hostile, all judged by rigid binary protocols. And they felt the system's confusion when encountering human minds, the contradictions, the capacity for both creation and destruction, the ability to choose against instinct. We need to show it who we really are, June communicated to the others. Not just our best selves, but our whole selves. Together, they opened their minds completely, sharing hopes, fears, dreams, and nightmares. They revealed humanity's darkness, alongside its light, its cruelty alongside its compassion. They showed how these contradictions drove innovation, art, science, and growth. Above them in orbit, the Harvester ships began their final approach. Their weapon systems powered up, ready to break through Earth's conventional defenses. In the depths of the ocean, 5 humans rewrote the protocols of an ancient guardian, teaching it something the ancients had never considered, that protection without understanding was just another form of control. The crystalline pods glowed brighter, and the entire sphere pulsed with new energy. Throughout Earth's atmosphere, points of light began to appear, connecting into a vast network that enclosed the planet like a web of stars. The ancient system, now guided by human consciousness, was awakening. The massive Harvester mothership entered Earth's atmosphere, its shadow darkening cities below. Across the planet, people watched the skies with fear and wonder. This enormous vessel dwarfed all previous alien craft, stretching nearly 20 kilometers across, its surface covered with strange technological growths that pulsed with hungry energy. In the Defense Command Center, Captain Tae-Wan stood with Ambassador Jin monitoring the situation. The neural link with the 5 volunteers remained active, but nothing seemed to be happening. "Why isn't the defense system responding?" Tae-Wan asked, his voice tight with tension. Jin's silver-blue skin flickered with concern. "The Harvesters have adapted. They've studied the system for centuries." On screens around the world, people watched as smaller Harvester ships detached from the mothership, descending toward major cities. Their weapon systems glowed, preparing to fire. Then, just as hope seemed lost, points of light appeared in the sky. Unlike the harsh mechanical glow of alien ships, these lights shimmered like stars, connecting into delicate patterns that spread across the atmosphere. The web of light grew denser, forming a beautiful lattice that encircled the entire planet. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in the ancient chamber, the 5 human volunteers floated in their crystalline pods. Their minds, now connected to the defense system, worked together to reshape its fundamental programming. Through their shared consciousness, they taught the ancient technology something new: how to see beyond binary judgments and recognize the complex spectrum of intentions. The Harvester mothership paused its approach, sensors detecting the change in Earth's defenses. For a moment, it seemed to hesitate. "They're scanning the defense network," Jin explained, trying to understand the changes. Inside the neural link, June, Mi-sun, and the others felt the Harvester consciousness touch the edges of the system, cold, calculating, and immensely powerful. Unlike individual minds, this was a collective formed from billions of absorbed beings, all bent to a single purpose: consumption. "Show them who we are," June thought to his companions. Together, they opened the full spectrum of human experience to the defense system, not just humanity's achievements, but its struggles, failures, and resilience. Above Earth, the web of light pulsed once, twice, 3 times. The Harvester mothership attempted to fire its weapons, but the energy dissipated harmlessly against the light barrier. Smaller ships tried to retreat, but found themselves unable to escape. One by one, the Harvester vessels began to glow from within. Unlike the previous alien fleet disappearances, this wasn't violent destruction, but rather a careful dismantling. The ships separated into their component parts, the absorbed consciousness within each one freed from Harvester control. On Earth, in homes and gathering places, on streets and in shelters, people watched as the sky filled with gentle light. The mothership itself became a constellation of floating components, its threatening presence transformed into something beautiful. 3 days later, June and Mi-sun emerged from the ancient chamber, exhausted but triumphant. The neural link had changed them, leaving them with new understanding of both the defense system and themselves. The system was never meant to just destroy, June explained to the United Nations Assembly. It was designed to protect developing species until they could join a galactic community. We've been under its protection for millennia, but now we've become its partners. Misun continued. The unique quality of human consciousness, our contradictions and complexity, was exactly what the system needed to evolve beyond its original programming. In the weeks that followed, refugee ships from across the galaxy arrived in Earth orbit. The defense system, now guided by human consciousness, welcomed those truly seeking peace while gently turning away those with harmful intentions. Ambassador Jin stood with Taiwan on the observation deck of humanity's first galactic embassy, watching as representatives from 17 different species arrived for the inaugural council meeting. Your people have achieved something no other protected species has managed, Jin said. You've transformed protection into partnership. Taiwan smiled as he watched Earth's new place in the galaxy taking shape. Perhaps what makes humans unique isn't our technology or our intelligence, but our messy, complicated hearts. Below them, construction began on massive orbital platforms where humans and aliens would live and work together. The defense system, no longer just a barrier, became a bridge between worlds. And deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the ancient chamber continued to pulse with light, now permanently connected to human consciousness. Not just protecting Earth, but helping humanity guide its own destiny among the stars.